podcast. Hello and welcome to Emma's podcast. I know I'm kind of late on releasing my podcast because now I'm recording the day of the release of the podcast. Yes, we are Wednesday and the weather is absolutely stunning here. So it feels like springtime in the middle of winter. This is what we got right here, right now, and no complaint in any way, shape, and form. I can tell you that. I rather this than 2 or 3 foot of snow in our faces here. It's just absolutely beautiful to see such a beautiful weather right now. So it gives us the time to have mindful walk and being able to take some fresh air, like we all deserve to have fresh air, seriously, especially when you're being cooked up inside of a house or a place or indoors, should I say, in general. It's very nice to be able to just breathe in, breathe out, and really enjoy the the beautiful weather. It's dying right now, so the ground is saturated by water. I need a pair of boots actually, because our walks are extremely muddy here with the pups, and before they can even enter home, I just have them, which is kind of funny for those poor kids, wash their paws, and even for daddy, wash under her belly too, because for some unknown reason she gets all dirty right there. Except today, Lulu was impatient and decided to run on the front of her while I was opening the door for her and just squeezed in. And I'm like, really? You old dirty, dirty, dirty minx. So this is the fun part to have pups. And you add the combo of water saturated ground. It's a great combo for mud. It's like a bunch of kids you let outside and they go play in the rain and they come back from head to toe. They're covered in mud. Well, this is what we got here. So, but thinking of now we're a little bit in the air with spring. I don't know what the weather is going to be for the next several weeks, but thinking about that is thinking about where we are with our businesses, our lives in general as well, because we want to make sure that as we're moving slowly but surely into 2024, we are keeping ourselves at breath on everything we would like to do. I know that some people are going to do their vision boards, some people are going to set their own intentions. Yeah, what do we want to do in our lives? Those are the biggest question we might have right now for our lives. And, we can go with the flow. Going with the flow doesn't hurt. But we would like to probably look at where we can be in few months. Not doesn't have to be 6 months. It could be shorter term. It's just what do we plan to enjoy? How do we make ourselves being more into a beautiful life of ours? Oh yeah, and I'm looking at the temp right now. Today is 54 degrees. Unheard. Seriously, totally unheard. It's like insanity at its best. Sorry, I'm interrupting the podcast, and we're gonna be up to the 40s, close to 50s. It's unbelievable. Seriously, it's like holy moly. Seriously, it's unbelievable. So good weather coming here around, which is very, very nice. But we are looking at our goals and what do we want to do in our life. So I'm reading some stuff, and I don't know if it's true or not, that some layoff happening again for other people, which is not fun. Been there, done that. But sometimes we have to look at which direction in our life we're gonna be facing, because biggest company. Well, right now I'm reading this. Wayfair layoff slash 13% of its workforce after CEO. Okay. Well, you know what? This happened quite often. 1,650 global employees. It's not that bad around the world. If you're looking at one area, no, it's around the world. So it's not bad at all. However, Some might have been transferred on their layoff for other things. This is streaming. This is how we do businesses. Now, the question is, what do we want to do about being able to like remote workers? This is another thing too. It's you have to adapt. I'm like jumping back and forth, and I'm okay. That is decided to make some noise behind me too. Layoff, it can help a company to be restructured or not. Now we're talking about layoff hit remote workers as staffers fret over future. Working remote, I love working remote. Okay, I'm not put my feet in an office for a few years right now, and I personally enjoy it. Not everybody will, which is okay, but we have to adapt flexibility. We have to understand then, okay, if I'm being let go somewhere, then there is another opportunity somewhere else. Now, it's very difficult when you're middle of the changes to just say, yeah, sure, Emma, no problem. Why don't we have a tea time right here and you can talk to me and we're just fine. We go into a panic mode. We go into where am I going to go tomorrow? How I'm going to feed my family? What are we going to be able to do right here, right now? You have to figure it out what you want in your life, actually, in general. What do you want to do? It's opportunities, actually, that gives you that leg up if you want to be an independent contractor, if you want to start your business. Those are opportunities, and we don't see it right away. We don't, because when you think, and that's why as a consulting person, I always say to people, being a consulting person, you know your beginning, you know the end of your contracts, okay? You have a period of time you're going to be hired, so you have that certainty. When you're being hired by a big corporation or a small one or a medium one, it doesn't matter. You don't know when you're going to get your pink slip. You have no idea. You are at the mercy of the business. You're at the mercy of the CEO. You're at the mercy of the trend and what's going on in the world. You're at the mercy of a lot of things, okay? When you're read like Wayfair, which I love their furniture and stuff like that, because I had a ton of those and I never had any issue with what they're doing. So I'm not blaming them for doing what they're doing at all. This is how business roll, okay? There is no security for anyone these days at all when you deal with those kind of corporation at all. As I said, small, medium, and large at all. Because when you go in, you expect yourself to be there forever, or until you decide to go somewhere else. But generally, you're like, well, I'm going to stay here for 10, 15 years, 20 years. That would be great. Well, because you're not a contractor, you're permanent, you're an employee, then you're at the mercy of the market. So if the company thrives, that's great. If the company struggles and cannot find its way to move up and grow, then you now are exposed to be canceled, quote unquote, let off, let go. That's what's happening with a lot of companies, that they have to reorganize themselves to figure it out. How can I be more productive? The problem is, in the middle of all of this, you do have, and that's what happened most of the time, the financial side of it, who doesn't care who you are. They're going to look at who spent most of the money. And generally, the first one is always IT. You get a blow in the face, which is unbelievable, because IT is the heart of your company that makes it run. In particular, especially when you want to receive orders, when you do your payroll, when you have your website running. So this is a very heavy component, and I've seen it so many times that they go and start to cut off IT first, because that's the way they go, or outsource it, and it turns to be even worse, especially when they do for the help desk. But they're doing this, and they don't look at what are we bringing to the table. They are just based on numbers. And it doesn't matter if you're remote or not. But this is what you're at the mercy of. And I always say to people, this is a false sense of security you've got to work for permanently for a company. It is a false sense of security because today you're here, tomorrow you'll be gone. At a snap of a finger, and you're done. So you have to, in those moments, you have an opportunity. The opportunity is to decide, do I want to stay in the field where I'm at, or do I want to do something else? Those are the kind of opportunity we have, and a lot of people are afraid of. People are scared because like, oh my God, if I do this, what's going to happen, blah, blah, blah. You have to become a risk taker. Now you can do things on the side. You can have a side gig as you're looking for a job, or you can go to temp job, which can lead you to permanent as well, because some companies will hire you after 90 days, decide to convert you from a temp to hire if you do a good job. It gives you an idea as well as, and that's what I love when I was a consulting person, what I am still are actually, is to be able to go into companies and see how they're doing. Liking it very much. Some were like, oh boy, I'm not going to go there because they are not treating people very well. This is not a good environment for me. But it gives you the experience. Yes, it's a little bit scary because you're like, oh my God, if I'm a consulting person and I just work for an agency and they just said, well, you're going to work for 3 months. What happened after 3 months? Well, those people, if you're doing a good job or you get extended, or the person that is your main contact will find you another job because that's what they want. They need to keep you working so they can make the money. Using a temp consulting agency is one of the best things that I ever done because it really gave me the diversity of those companies and also the certainty of the time. I've been both. I've been permanent and I've been consultant. And permanent, I never liked it personally. One of the reasons was is the political game, is the kiss my shoes game. And I do not play that game. I don't have time for that. I just want to go to work, do the job, and go home because my life is not at work, it's at home. And a lot of people don't understand that because they spend their life to explain every single thing they do at work, which, you know what, not good because we don't want to know all of your issues in general, unless you have people who love the entertainment and will sit down for hours listening and enjoying the disaster unfolding. But back to consulting, you just go to a place, you do what you got to do, and you leave. You don't have to do yearly reviews. To me, yearly reviews is hypocrisy at best, at worst too. You know, if you're hired for a job, well, you're going to do the job, you're going to deliver the job. If you don't, then that's a situation that needs to be resolved. But at the year end, you should not be justifying your existence when they know what you're doing. Seriously. So that to me always had a nerve at some level to justify what you're doing. It's like, yes, and what can you do better? Well, let me think. If I'm an assistant, and what can I do better? I'm already supporting my boss. What can I do better? I don't know. I make his life already easier. So I don't know what to improve. What can I do different? Well, nothing because this is what I'm doing on a daily basis. So some of the questions are ridiculous, but that always, amaze me. Or you got people that you can ask your peers if they want to give you feedback, which, some will do very nicely and some will be pretty nasty to give some very unpleasant reviews, even if you don't deserve it. So there is the political side of it. There is, those hierarchy and those groups that you see forming. So for me, looking at outside of all of this, I'd rather be a consulting person coming, don't care about what's going on. You don't exist as an employee. So if there is layoff, generally, it depends. Now, they will withhold some of the consultant person first before they lay off everybody else's. In the old days, they will lay off people and keep the consultant. But, it's always a lawsuit away if you don't follow the proper procedure. But you're looking at yourself and you really can define if that is a good place for you. Now, when you have a change of CEO, that's another situation as well, another conversation. when we're talking CEOs, because the problem with the CEOs is instead than pick it up where the person did before and elevate to the next level, some have an ego bigger than the universe and just whip out everything, which is ridiculous. And we have seen this in politics actually. Go and erase what the previous president did, which created chaos and now create a very big situation when it comes down to other businesses because it's impacting everybody. Instead, then pick it up, elevate it, and make it better. They want to erase and rebuild. So imagine that in the first 4 or 5 years, you're going to waste your time to redo something that wasn't needed, and it's impacting the company. But they don't care because they just want a result or whatever their despotic mind is. So if you think about, even look at actually Apple. They never went after Steve Jobs passed away. They did not erase what he has done. They continue to improve and thrive on what he was doing. This is an example of a company that follow their path. Even though everybody predicted Apple will go down, now that Steve Jobs is gone, blah, blah, blah. Well, his legacy lives on because the people that are in charge right now are following on his footstep. They continue to innovate. They continue to develop what he had in mind and even more. So you have to think as an example, and I will take him and Apple, that you can continue to thrive. You can continue to elevate things without destroying it. You can remove what doesn't work, but what works well, continue to move it up to the next level. That's what it should be. But again, when you get your ego in a way, then guess what's happening? You do the reverse because you want your own legacy in there. And it's like, well, you're already the CEO. So I will be the CEO. I will move it up. I'm not going to destroy something that works. That's ridiculous. Why would I waste my time to do that? It's not worthy. So think about it. Think about when you come to a layoff position where you were and you have now to move on to something different. It is scary. I totally agree. You were expecting to get your bill. You're expecting to get your check on a monthly, weekly, bi-weekly basis, and everything is gone. And you're by yourself and you're like, what am I supposed to do? I have a mortgage to pay. I have to feed my kids, blah, blah, blah. Panic set. And you're like, holy crap. So you go in a survival mode. We all do. At one point of time, we all do, even for 5 minutes, even for 2 hours, even for 3 hours. We are all doing it at some level. Then it gives you the opportunity to just say, okay, what can I do to continue to support my family? But also, what can I do for myself? Do I really want to continue in that path? Or should I take the other path that I always wanted to do? You know, I always encourage people, if you want to start your own business, keep your day job and start it as a side gig until you can make the equal amount of money you're making every month. You're making it with your business. And from there, you take the decision to let go of that job and go full-time in your business. This is how successfully you can make your change. Sometimes you have an opportunity to start your business because you got laid off. And that's an opening for you to do something you're meant to be doing. So you really have to think, what am I going to do? Am I taking that leap of faith and I can move up to where I need to be? Or am I going to be afraid and just really not going anywhere because I'm frightened, I'm paralyzed, I'm scared of tomorrow? It is amazingly wonderful to see that even if we are so worried about our lives, if we let the universe come in and work its magic, I can guarantee if you lose your job, I have people who lost their jobs. They got let go very rudely. I remember that. I witnessed that. Within 2 days, they had a new job right there. Why? Because of networking. Why? Because reaching out to your connections and say, hey guys, this is what's going on right now. If you know anyone or anything, let me know. There is always somebody who's going to tell you something or know somebody, and by way of perfect synchronicity, you will be helped. So I have amazingly saw great things happening to me, even for me, when I talked about the fire, not to have anyone's pity, because that's not the point of the podcast and me telling my story, but it's letting the universe work its magic, letting people, even people that I don't know, stepping into my life and talk and help me out of the blue. So when you see this happening, then that gives you the hope and faith that everything is possible. And that's what we have to learn, is to remove ourselves from the world we're living in, to move up to the spirituality and having faith and leaning on the universe. It's very easy to say, well, yes, I can do this and that, but in dire time, this is where you really see the wisdom and things happening. So why not being able to open ourselves up to the next level? Why not being able to really be prepared to see ourselves in such beautiful light? The life of 1,000 is a life of transformation. The life of 1,000 is a life where we can move ourselves in such level that we can take that leap of faith. I had opportunities, and I talked about it when I wanted to do my business, and I was talking to Jay. And we had conversation. It was beginning of 2000, and I said, I'm getting my business. The deal was, it was taking that leap of faith, and the universe was ready to kick my booty out, and it did. Actually, it did. Even though I didn't want it to move, I was scared, and my ego gave me every excuses in the world. Yeah, you need to pay your bill, you need this, and that. Every possible excuses, I had them, until I got kicked to the curb by the universe, and I had to step up to the plate. And the universe knew better, because the universe was like, okay, you're going to do it, sister. I'm like, I'm not doing it. I'm scared. Well, you have to follow your instinct. You have to listen to the universe and follow that little voice that's telling you, not the loud one who's telling you, holy crap, you're not doing this. The little voice who's telling you, time to do it. You have possibility during the time of a layoff to be supported, but also being able to learn something new. Have the opportunity to learn something that could expand your horizon, bring more skill set to you. And again, if you go to a temp agency and people are like, oh God, no, well, you should. You will have opportunities to work. You can define what you want to do. And I've done that. There is companies I interview and walk away. I'm like, I don't want to work with those people. And I never took the job because I didn't want it to work with those individuals, because I knew something wasn't going to be right for me. So it gave me opportunities to pick and choose as well. I have worked on great projects. I worked on others. They were like flying hot potatoes, what I call it, one disaster after another. But it gave me the opportunity to go to different companies and learn from those guys. Okay? I love what I've done so far in my life. And few things were great, few things were horrible. And as a permanent person, you're more at the mercy of people than anything else. In a time of layoff, you have to remember that you're being pick and choose. Okay? You're on a hit list or not. And people will let you go if they feel that they don't like you, you're a threat, you're too smart, you're too this, you're too that, you don't fit, blah, blah, blah. That is one way that people get rid of some people, because the managers and the directors are the one who are going to tell how many people are going to disappear. So you're going to have to figure it out. You can have it 2 people, 1 people, 20 people, 30 people, an entire department be gone, whatever it is. So you have to understand that, because some of the layoff that we see from him could be remote, but they could be also like finance, they could be IT. So this could be that as well. So you have to realize that they're going to go as well outsource, because outsource, Philippines, Chile, in other countries, they are so less expensive. This is what they do. This is how it works. But it gives us opportunity for people who get laid off to have a chance to do something slightly different. If you want to stay in the same field, go ahead. But you have opportunity to expand your horizon. So think about that. And I know it's very difficult when you're in the middle of a layoff or you know it's coming and they're like, oh, well, by next week. And this is what the most horrifying thing. One of the layoffs that I witnessed was for 2 days in a row, something like that. They wanted everybody in the office for 2 days. So imagine everybody were running like chicken without head. And I was very calm. And I'm like, if it's happening, it's happening. And everybody were panicking. And you're like, why are you so calm? I said, I don't have to show if I'm terrified or not. It's not going to change anything. The name is on, the names are on the list. It's already pre-done. So that should not be a problem for anyone. But think about it. Think about what you can do. And if you have an opportunity, what would you like to do? If you have an opportunity to get up from where you are, think about that. So this was our podcast for today. I have no idea what we're going to be talking on our next podcast, but I'm sure it's going to be as interesting as layoff. All my love, guys, and I will talk to you later. Bye now. Universe.